Hello, thank you for joining this video. Now, in this video, I just had these four countries, right? Afghanistan, Bangladesh, England, and Pakistan in purple, violet, I think it's purple or lavender, whatever the color is. But the point being is these countries, they were almost teams that they played well. Either it's because they got the rough end of the toss or they didn't play well at the beginning of the tournament as they were supposed to, or they lost some clutch moments with drop catches, or they got plain were in poor form, right? These teams they deserve a quick shout out. Let's just start with Bangladesh, who are the lowest in the ranks among these teams, right? They start off well with Afghanistan, right? That was surprising. They beat them quite comprehensively. If I'm not mistaken, it was them and New Zealand who were the only two teams who could really put a stranglehold on Afghanistan. I think in Dharmshala, that the game that they lost to Afghanistan lost to New Zealand, right? They got bowled out for 156. Every other match, Afghanistan, I think, except New Zealand game, they got to 250. So they did start off very well, and then they sort of went on the deep end. So it's too bad for them. But they didn't play well. To be honest with you, they had plenty of chances to play well, but they didn't. And their batting was a little bit out of order. I think probably not having Tamim and probably not having Tamim there, and not having Sakibul Hassan in good form, and maybe not Mustafizur not firing it on cylinders, and the spinners not able to control. Probably that caused them the thing. I don't think Bangladesh had many toss dependent games. I think they had one in Kolkata that they okay, maybe they could have batted. They could have. I think they had actually they had, oh wow, they also had for no, actually they had four toss dependent games. It's pretty standard, and they should have, but they had some bad luck, with four tosses not going their way. But still, you have to say that they should have put more pressure on Pakistan, but Pakistan were able to easily coast through. They did beat Sri Lanka, which is, of course, they Sri Lanka have not also played this well in this World Cup, but yeah, you could say Bangladesh tough luck a little bit. So they had a little bit of toss unfavorability with them, because in Kolkata they lost. They bowled second, they batted second. Chennai they batted first. Kolkata this game they could have won with Pakistan, but they didn't use conditions. But Mumbai they were definitely unlucky to to bowl first. So yeah, bit of mix, but still they didn't show enough fight in some games. Now we look at Afghanistan. I mean, what more to say about them? They start off slowly, and it seems like, yeah, it's going to be, here we go again. They may not go with even with one victory, but then, like the captain had mentioned at the beginning of the tournament, that they will do well with the bat, and they did exceedingly well with the bat. And now I'm very keen on following Afghan cricket, because they have improved. They've come leaps and bounds, and they've shown that maybe I was a little bit unconvinced with the wins against England, Sri Lanka, and Netherlands, and who else? I think they also beat Pakistan. Right? I was unconvinced because they had got the better of the conditions, but after they had Australia at 91 for 7, you are a good team if you can exploit the conditions well, and then they did exploit the conditions well. The seamers got a lot of swing, and then they had Australia not only on the mat, but I haven't seen such negative body language from Australia in a long time, and Afghanistan were able to put them under that sort of pressure. I mean, in this World Cup, I don't think they were under pressure anytime. Probably against New Zealand, they were under pressure, but the body language didn't drop in the close run chase. But yeah, we'll talk about them later. But Afghanistan, yeah, they have truly arrived. They are a good side right now. They're not such a pushover anymore. Now, England and Pakistan. England, I think they had a bad start to the tournament. This game was very critical for them, right? The loss against sorry, the loss against yeah, they lost against New Zealand, right? This was very heartbreaking for them, because they got to 86, and then New Zealand just chased it down with plenty of overs to spare, right? Probably this sort of shut their campaign down a little bit, but they responded well against Bangladesh, and then they did beat them by 137 runs, and it seems like, okay, a normal order has been resumed. But this game, versus South Africa, right? This is where they should have been a little bit more conscious. They should have been conscious of the decision to bowl first. They might have thought, okay, this could turn out like this game, and maybe that's the reason why they forced themselves to bowl first. But this game could have gone either way. It could have been England's game as well. So yeah, I mean, you also good as the decisions you take. Maybe they were a little bit spooked, but you could say that if England had won the toss, they were likely going to win the game. England India, again, the batting failed just like all the other three games. Now this game, England Australia, I think the batting failed because, like I said, Ahmedabad is it's a very easy pitch to bat on second time around, but they didn't exploit it that well, and then Australia, to the credit, held their nerve. England, Sri Lanka, I mean, they were so confused right now. First, okay, do we bat first? No, we're supposed to bowl first. Okay, do we bowl first? Okay, we're supposed to bat first, and that's what happened. Here they said, okay, we failed while bowling first, so let's bat first here. But Bangalore is a chasing ground. Now they redeemed themselves against Netherlands and Pakistan, but that was a little too late for them to redeem themselves. Now Pakistan, like I said in the previous video, I'll put the description down to the previous video. In the description I'll put the link to the previous video. Sorry about that. Okay, they had unfavorable what do you call tosses, or places that they should not have. They got the most out of it. I think five. They got two favorable and five unfavorable. And I think in the unfavorable, when they like I mentioned in the previous video, when they played in conditions that were not favorable to them, that is, they lost the toss, or they chose to play in conditions that were unfavorable for that particular ground. They only won one. That was against Bangladesh, when they swept them in Kolkata, which was traditionally a bad first wicket. But every other wicket I could have seen, especially the India-Pakistan match, if toss went their way and then they decided to do something different, like in Chennai, both these games Chennai and this game in Ahmedabad, right? I could see them winning at least two out of these three games easily. Yeah, I'm not joking. I think they could at least won this game surprisingly against India, who seemed were invincible. But I think this one might have been a good reality check for India just before the final to understand the condition, to assess the batting order. But this one, they would have definitely won one of these two if they if they bowled or batted in the right innings, right? They redeemed themselves against Bangladesh. They played chase very well in Kolkata, but against New Zealand, it's 400. A lot of people might have written them off because Pakistan is not known for their batting, but the way they chased against New Zealand, Fakhar Zaman and Babar Azam, they had the match in the control. Sure, they could have easily faltered, but you have to understand, even against Australia, they bowled. It may seem like, okay, they considered 3 they didn't bowl well. No, but they were able to pull back Australia, and they had a Warner cat that was dropped off them. And Afridi bowled very well, 5 over 65 for thing. It may seem like he considered a lot, but on the Bangalore wicket, where it's good favorable batting conditions, and it's much more favorable batting second. They did put up a good fight against Australia. They lost by 60 runs, yes, but Australia at one point they were a little bit concerned about it. So these are the four teams that are have qualified for the Champions Trophy, but failed to qualify for the semi-finals. But two of the three teams, maybe England and Pakistan, or maybe Pakistan and Afghanistan, right? If they had some bit of luck, or maybe Pakistan had some tosses go its way, probably they would have usurped New Zealand and Australia, or New Zealand and Australia, or South Africa, or New Zealand and South Africa, and they would have been the two teams in the semi-finals, like Pakistan and Afghanistan. I mean, England could have also done it. I mean, if they got some games against India and Australia, that would have set up a nice tantalizing finish in the league stages with net run rates and everybody scrambling to win some games. But yeah, but England, they have themselves to blame. They shot themselves in the foot. Okay, so this is like my video on England and South Africa, in England, Bangladesh, Afghanistan, and Pakistan, how the World Cup campaigns went. I mean, I want to mention, I want to do some mention with Sri Lanka and Netherlands. Yes, they did play well in patches, but they didn't do enough to challenge anyone. I mean, Sri Lanka, the biggest blunder they might have made, maybe they could have given them some momentum, is if they maybe batted, if they maybe bowled first, if they maybe batted first against India, right? Instead of batting first against India, right? Instead of bowling first against India, if they batted first against India, maybe they could have given some momentum. But still, losing by 302 runs, can't not being able to survive even for 20 overs, I don't think they deserve to go to the semi-finals. Yeah. And Netherlands, yeah, they were they played beyond their weight. Actually, I think Netherlands and Afghanistan, they played beyond the weight. But like the game against Pakistan, they could have won it, but they had themselves to blame. So that's why I didn't dedicate this video for Netherlands and Sri Lanka. I just thought it would be respectful to give them a mention, but they made some mistakes that probably were a little bit too costly, and that's why they were never in the hunt for the semi-finals. So in the next video, I'll be going in order of these two teams: India, Australia, New Zealand, and South Africa, the four semi-finalists. Maybe I'll dedicate one video to South Africa and New Zealand. And now my final videos is Australia, and finally in India. Why I think maybe India and South Africa, or my India, maybe were not as invisible as people thought they were. Once again, thank you for joining me.